This week, I'm excited to share one of the best techniques I've heard in a long time to practice your sexual skills. Yes, it is the pussycat petting technique. Hey, it's Alex Allman, and this week I want to share with you a technique for training yourself to be a great lover. It's something that you and your partner can do together, and both of you will become better lovers as a consequence. It's awesome stuff. It comes from my friend Philippe Lewis, who is one of the top party promoters in the Bay Area in San Francisco, and he promotes some very risque, sexy parties all over the Bay Area. He's also just a mad genius, a social engineer, and the most incredible provocateur that I've ever met. And I'm just so excited that he shared this technique with me and that I get to share it with you. It is the pussycat petting technique, and it works a little something like this. You and your lover get together and share this little game. One of you gets to be the pussycat and the other one gets to be the human. And it doesn't matter who does which, because you're going to switch and you're both going to have a chance to try it. And it simply begins where you pet your partner as if they were a pussycat. And as you might know, when you pet a cat and it doesn't like it, it walks away. And when you pet a cat and it likes it a lot, it purrs and presses into you. And so the partner who plays the pussycat gets to basically respond intuitively to whether or not they enjoy the way you're touching them, multiplied by a factor of 10 or 20 of what they would normally do. So maybe normally they'd give you no response at all. That would be the kind of normal thing. Maybe they'd go, that feels good. Or maybe they just kind of, pull their arm away a little bit. But the thing is that this game gives you permission to respond about 20 times more than you normally would. You just want to dial it up. And then the partner, who's the human, gets to basically pet and enjoy the process of petting the pussycat while getting really good feedback on what feels good and what doesn't feel good. Now, that's a pretty simple game, and obviously the next thing, of course, is you're going to switch. The game is pretty simple, but how does that make you a better lover? Well, listen up, because the real genius of this is in the details. This is going to make you a better lover in a number of ways. The first thing that it's going to do is it's going to actually teach you to pay attention to your lover, to actually notice what's going on in their body, to really notice, because it's going to be big and open and right there for you, that when you're doing something that doesn't feel good, that it's really, really easy, sometimes the most subtle way, to change the way you're touching somebody and suddenly make it go from feeling slightly annoying to absolute heaven. Now, you can do this in non-sexual but sensual touching. You can stroke her hair, you can stroke her neck, the inside of her arm, or you can become more sexual and actually use this on her genitals, her breasts, and vice versa. If you're a woman using this on your lover, you could stroke his shoulders, his hands, or all the way down to his genitals. But the beauty of this game is that you can begin to notice what kind of touch your partner actually responds to, and not just what you're guessing they respond to. And you'll get real feedback as to what actually feels good, and what feels good sensually, and what feels good to push it down the road erotically and sexually. And what's great about this is it broadens the palette of the way that you'll touch your lover in the future. You'll know all these new ways to give them pleasure that you might not have known about before. And instead of just doing the same old thing, it broadens what you do. And you begin to learn through this game the process of actually paying attention, because depending on what mood somebody's in, something can go from feeling really good to not good at all. The best example of this is generally things that are very ticklish when you're kind of in that sort of highly energized, tense mood, can be very erotic when you're in an aroused mood. Now, here's the big twist. Here's the big unexpected bonus from this exercise, which is you also learn a lot being the cat. And what the cat learns is how to be a better receiver. Being a good receiver means having the inner confidence and ability to give your lover signs when something doesn't feel good, to really let them know And not in just a passive aggressive way, not in just a kind of way, but to actually kind of give them feedback that this doesn't feel good in a way that encourages them not to just leave the room because clearly they're a loser, but actually gives them encouragement to try other things. And it can be so subtle, the tiniest little distinction between what was annoying and what feels just incredibly good. And so you get a better sense with your lover of how to be a receiver who can guide them into what makes you feel good. And perhaps most importantly of all, when it does feel good, to just not lay back there and assume that they get that, because they might not. And it gives them enormous satisfaction. They get that feeling of job well done. They get that feeling of having succeeded in giving the person who they care about real physical pleasure when you let them know how good it feels by being the kind of cat who purrs and pushes into it. And learning that process of being a great receiver is at least as important to being a good lover as learning how to touch somebody in a way that pleases them. You can play this game just once with your lover, and your sex life will be forever changed for the better. Don't just go, wow, that sounds cool. Actually go out and do it, because it's going to make a difference in your life. This is Alex Holm with Revolutionary Sex. More tips next week.